back to The Dose of It, the unfiltered podcast where we talk all things weight loss, wellness, GLP1s, and becoming that girl, one step and injection at a time.
We're your hosts, Priss and Taylor, and while we're on this journey with you, let's be super clear. We are not medical professionals.
Just two besties sharing our real life experiences, the good, the bad, the messy, and everything in between.
So grab your water, get your steps in, and let's get into The Dose of It.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Dose of It. As you can tell, we have a super freaking special guest. We are literally so excited. We could not wait to get into it today. We wanted to bring someone super special, super empowering, who has been on this journey and honestly has helped me and Taylor along the way as well. Some of you guys might already know, but this is Jamie. He has lost 340 pounds with the help of a GLP1, and his mindset, his movement and motivation has just really inspired not only me and Taylor, but so many people from this community. So we are super grateful and excited to have you on here, Jamie. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I mean, I've been looking forward to this for a while now.
Yay!
I mean, I've been listening to your podcast. I've been following you guys for a long time, and you guys don't go live on TikTok very often, but when you do, it's always fun when you do. And I'm always in there, tapping the screen and all that. So, and hello to your audience as well, because clearly since you told your folks in your Patreon I was going to be on, like people can like, oh, I'm excited for you to be on. And I'm like,
they were sad.
I've been on a few podcasts, but this might be the most excited I've been to be on one.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy, because literally whenever we were getting ready, we're like, please show up. Please don't be scared of us. Like, I know we're crazy and a little unhinged, but we really, really want to talk with him. I literally went to Hotworks this morning and I told my friends, I said, I'm literally interviewing somebody so freaking cool today. Like, He's lost 340 pounds. Like, I'm so excited. Like, all day long, I'm like, I cannot wait to talk to Jamie. You holding up the fat and the muscle, it's iconic. It's iconic, honestly. Oh, he has it ready. He keeps that thing on him.
This is what 5 pounds of fat looks like. I've lost 300. I've lost 68 of these.
That's crazy.
Anytime someone feels like I've only lost 5 pounds, I've only lost 40 pounds, I've only lost whatever. It's like, imagine if it was this hanging off your
yes,
neck.
I love that. And we'll get into that as well, because I love what you stand for, what your page stands for. And I love that you honestly just do this to educate people and help people, because when I first started this journey, I wish I would have found you right away, because you are so knowledgeable in this community. And I love that you're just like a friend, and you feel like we're on a FaceTime call with you and you're on live. It just feels so relatable.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I really appreciate that. I'm just trying to be myself at all times, because then you don't ever have to fake anything. So what you see is what you get.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Jamie, we are super excited to have you on here. Like you said, and like Priss said, we had so many of our like followers and people on our Patreon like messaging us, and they were like, oh my God, like we need him on here. We need him on here ASAP. And it was just like divine timing that like things worked out and we were able to get you on. So I also love when you hang up the 5 pounds and you're like, this is how much, because I was on one of your lives and someone literally commented like, I have only lost this amount, and you like did the math for them and everything, and you were like, you've lost however many of these it was. And I love seeing that, because I think a lot of people are really hard on themselves on these journeys, and myself included. I think it's it's kind of inevitable when you're on a weight loss journey, but I think to have people in the community that are so uplifting, such as yourself, is really, really important. And I think that's why we're all like super excited to have you on here. So thank you for giving us your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So before we kind of get into what we call the rotisserie of the episode, because I'm not sure, do you love rotisserie chickens?
I love rotisserie chicken. I go to Costco. I mean, I grab it. I mean, I love it.
Hell yeah.
And now this is going to be like a serious question. Have you ever just ate the rotisserie chicken straight out of the bag?
I have not. I'm like very much a like take it out and like cut it off and like, so I don't need it. I don't need the bag. I've never like done like one of those things. Although I sort of sometimes want to. Sometimes I'm
intrusive thoughts.
Even on GLP, I still get hungry. I mean, there's been times when I've been in the car like, oh, it's right next to me. I mean,
it fills your whole car up. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I have been in there a few times where I'm like, the leg is just so easy to eat while you're driving. So,
yes. So that's what we call our, like, the meat of our episodes. We've decided to just change it to rotisserie. The rotis episode.
Because it's the meat of the episode. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. But before we get into the rotis, we would love to know if this is their first time finding you, seeing you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Your social, your address, whatever you feel comfortable telling us. You can just get right into it.
Well, I'm 29 years old, is what I like to lie and tell people. No, so I'm 47 years old. I really encourage me when I talk to people in this space and I'm like, who are you? They always start with kind of like their weight loss story. And I'm going to do that now. Although I usually like to stop people and say, like, that's not who you are. You are not the size of your body or the number on the scale. But in my case, so I'm a dude. I am originally from North Dakota. I worked in the tech space for many years and I lived all over. So I lived in North Dakota, I lived in Kentucky, which I loved. I lived in just north of London, England for a few years. Seattle is where I probably enjoyed life the most. And I moved back to my home state of North Dakota a few years ago because I got to be 652 pounds. And I've been very big my whole life since I was 9 or 10 years old. But I got during COVID, like many of us, I gained some weight. I gained a bit of weight. I've been above 500 pounds since I was like 20, since I discovered beer and Taco Bell at 3 in the morning.
Taco Bell. Dude, Taco Bell needs to not be open 24 hours.
I
That's
know.
rude. Damn.
I go. The thing is, Taco Bell is not bad as far as fast food goes for macros, but it used to be really way cheaper, and so that was a problem.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
true.
but so during COVID, I ended up working a lot. I was working 80 or 90 hours a week, and just from home, and gained a significant amount of weight, and realized it was obesity is a disease and it was getting worse and worse for me. And I moved back to my home state, even though I'm much more of a big city kind of person. I realized I needed a support system. And my support system was going to be my friends and family that were back home here. So my highest weight was 652. And that's what I was about 3 years ago or 3.5 years ago. And had a number of things happen that told me it was really time to make a change in my life. And so started to lose weight. I lost 50 pounds my first year. I was not on a GLP-1 because I, like many of us, had this thought in my head, like, that's the easy way out. And same reason I never did a bariatric surgery. And after a year, and I sometimes say I only lost 50. Now, only losing 50 is not, I mean, that's a lot, but I was 650 pounds. So it's not like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was no noticeable difference for me. But I knew I wouldn't keep it off. I was in a battle against food noise every single day. And so I started a GLP-1 2 years ago. Didn't lose anything at first, but after 3 months, I started losing. I've now down a total of 340 pounds in that time.
Amazing.
And I was never going to talk about any of this. So if you follow me, my socials, I fortunately have a unique name, so I'm easily findable if you just search my name. TikTok's my primary one. You can find me there on Jamselz, JAMSELZ. You can find me on YouTube and on Instagram at jselzler. So find me there. And I was never going to talk about this. I'm closing on 50 years old. Been a business guy my whole life. I've been active in politics. I'm a public figure where I'm from. I
Oh
was
wow.
never going to talk about this stuff with anybody, even my friends or my family, other than my sister, who's also on her own weight loss journey. But as I started to lose weight and I started to see more and more people out in the public attacking those who were on a GLP-1, I started to feel a little guilty about not speaking out. And I come from an immense place of privilege in that I have insurance that pays for my GLP-1 medication. I am a middle-aged white man. So our entire society and culture is built to allow me to be successful. And so if I'm going to use all the privilege that that's given me to lose weight and access medication and all of that, for me to not speak out for those who don't have the ability to speak out, it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
I started speaking out, not just about my own story, but also to advocate for others. Next thing you know, lost 240 pounds, talking to Priss and Tay, bada bing, bada boom. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for sharing your story. I know that it's hard, coming on the internet and being vulnerable about weight loss or really just sharing anything about your personal life because people are so mean. But I think the fact that you're able to realize, you know what, like I have these privileges and there are people who are being like brought down on this journey. And I think that's where I felt too. I said, you know what? I said, there are not a lot of people who represent our community. There's just not. And it's a hard truth. And it's because so many people feel ashamed because of what society likes to say about GLP-1. So a lot of people do feel like I'm cheating and my journey's not valid. I'm taking the easy way out. And ultimately, that's why I started, sharing my journey. And so just to hear that you also had the right motive behind it, I think is
Yeah.
just beautiful, because you never know what people's motive is, right? Of like sharing their journeys and stuff. So I think to hear, and just, I think we all knew that though, from just how you speak and just how you're on your lives. I think you can really tell how someone is and what the true motive is.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, like, your journey is so inspiring. And I remember the first time that, like, I came across your page and I was like, wow, like, this guy is absolutely amazing. And just watching your lives and how you speak to people, I think I really resonate with it, because it's not like I like in one of your lives too, you had said, I don't affiliate for anything. Like, I literally am just coming on here to share my journey. I think the community needs more people like you. But I think a lot of times it's kind of like filtered out. And I think it's so nice to have someone like yourself who's on live, literally just sharing your journey and talking to people and helping people. I just think there's like a beauty in that. So thank you for doing what you do and being
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I think it's really powerful, your story, because I think a lot of people, whenever they go to TikTok and they're starting a GLP-1, they see a lot of like finish lines, or they see a lot of afters and not in betweens, or like the transition periods. And so I think it's so important that you were able to share your journey and show someone that might be starting, or that might be like in a weird area right now in their life, that it is doable and that you can achieve it. And I think that's so important, because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start my journey, because when I first started my GLP-1, I said, there's no way that I'm going to lose weight because I feel so far gone. Like, there's no way that my body will change because I've been in this skin for so long. How am I ever going to come back from it? So the fact that you are so open about sharing your weight loss journey and just like the motivation that's gotten you here, I think is so powerful. And kind of like Taylor said, I think we need more people like you in this world, because there's somebody out there, I know there is, because I've witnessed it, that can just relate to you and see you and realize, I can do this. Like, this is going to be achievable for me. So
Yeah,
I just
I
want to thank you
appreciate that.
again.
Thank you. Yeah. And I don't fault anyone for doing what they do in terms of their life and their business. I'm not an affiliate for anyone. I don't sell anything. I joke I don't sell anything, except I talk about Mago 7 all the time,
Oh,
which you
hell
all know.
yeah. Yeah.
Mago 7 hates to see us coming.
Mago 7 hit Jamie up. Mago
Yeah,
7.
exactly. Send me on a cruise or something, Mago 7. But
Yeah.
anyway, but I don't like use this to make money at all. And so I think that's really critical to me. But Priz, you sort of bring up something about kind of how you viewed yourself when you got started. And for me, a really important part of this whole journey has been about finding a way to forgive yourself and provide love to yourself. So when I look at pictures of myself, the before pictures where I was over 600 or 650 pounds, I just have lots of love for myself now, because me at my largest size is just as worthy, just like you at your largest size or your smallest size. We are worthy of love and respect and empathy and compassion, regardless of our body size. And our
Yes.
worth should not be tied to the size of our clothes or the number on a scale. And
Absolutely.
that includes not just love and respect from others, but love and respect from ourselves.
Yeah.
And so part of this for me has been sort of forgiving myself for the times in the past where I felt like I had failed or caused the failure. And now I sort of look at all those failures before, and like I'm sure we all have, you lose a little, you regain, you lose, you regain, and you end up beating yourself up for it. But
Yes.
in reality, in hindsight, all those things we're doing, we're just teaching you what didn't work for you. And in our case, we've learned that we have a disease that needs medical treatment. And once you get the medical treatment, you can start managing your disease. Doesn't mean that it cures our disease. Doesn't mean that it does the work for us. We still have to do all that.
Yeah.
But forgiving yourself for things that are out of your control is a really important thing to do on this journey.
I
I love
love
that you
that.
said
Yeah.
that. Like, honestly, I thank you for talking about that, because me and Taylor, we talk to people on a daily. And I think one of the common things that we hear is how often people hate themselves in their past. Like, they hate who they were, or they hate who they became, or why did I let myself get to this point? And they're so hateful towards that person. And I think we're really big on treating that old them with so much grace, because honestly, I don't think, me personally, I would be the person that I am today if it wasn't for who I was
Absolutely.
2, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. When I was at my highest weight, I learned so many things that even when I, lose however many pounds I get to losing, I'm going to be so grateful that I was at my highest weight, because it made me want to even push even more harder. It made me love myself in a way that I don't think I'll ever be able to love myself again the same way, because I was at my highest weight, but I still did so many things that I didn't think I could do, and I think one of those things was get to where I am now. I didn't think that I could lose weight, and here I am. So I think it's so important that you touch on that, because so many people are so hard on themselves. I think that's part of a weight loss journey. Like, we're just so mean to ourselves a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you touched on a really great point there.
Well, Priz, I'm so proud of you, Priz. Like the joy. This is why I wanted to do this podcast with you guys specifically. Is like this certainly applies to both of you. Like the joy radiates from you.
Oh,
So like,
thank
Priz,
you.
when you talk, you're like, you feel the joy and it's authentic. It doesn't mean you have it all the time. We all have bad moments. There's times where you probably have to put on the face like we all do, but you can tell that you're certainly learning to love yourself more every day.
Yeah,
And
I
that comes
appreciate you.
across. And I hope that others follow your lead as well.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I feel like I really needed to hear that, because like I said, I think when I was at my highest weight, I was so hard on myself, and I never thought I could get to this point. But I think Priss back then was so loving and so kind, and she still is, right? And the world was so cruel to her, but she still chose to love. And so I think that's why I am the way now, because I grew up with so much bullying, so much hate, and I still chose to love. So I think a lot of us can learn from that, because even though you might have been at your highest weight, you were still a very happy, graceful, loving person, and you owe that to yourself to just be like, you know what, I am a good person. And even though,
And you have to forgive yourself for the moments you didn't love yourself.
exactly, yes. And I love that so much. I love that so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go back to where you said about bringing up like forgiving ourselves. I actually had someone reach out to me about like a week or two ago, and she asked if I could share what my loose skin looks like after losing 100 pounds. And she said that she's really struggling with seeing her loose skin now, but like more so hating herself and judging herself harder now than she did when she was at her heaviest, because she hates what she did to herself. And when she said that to me, it made me realize like how hard we really are on ourselves. And, I think I deal with that a lot right now. And Chris knows, and a lot of the community knows that I'm trying to talk about it now. I hit 100 pounds down, but I feel like I don't see it. I see it physically, but mentally it's not connecting, if that makes sense. And so when she said that, it's like, I was like, dang, this girl's really being mean to herself. She's really tearing herself down. But then it's like, I'm doing it to myself. So it's like hard to like, I can preach it all day long to people, right? And say like, be kind to yourself, and, your body's a temple, and your body, it's just loose skin is your body. Like I just saw your video, Jamie, of like you showing your loose skin. And I love that, because a lot of people don't show that. It's like, I feel like the only thing I really see about loose skin is like you lose the weight, they don't really show it, and then they get a tummy tuck. And then I don't get to see like what their loose skin, like I feel like I'll scroll on people's videos and be like, well, what does your loose skin look like right now? Like after losing 200 pounds, because I'm going to be 200 pounds down. I want to know what I'm going to look like. And so I just think that, we really are hard on ourselves, was like what I was trying to say with that. And so like when she DM'd me and said that, I was like, wow. I was like, not only are like you beating yourself up, but you're really making me think about how I'm not being kind to myself either, because I'm also saying the same things to myself, but I don't like how you're talking to yourself, because you shouldn't be tearing yourself down. And yeah, so I like that you brought that up, that it's really about like forgiving ourselves, because I think that's like super important, that it wasn't all of our fault.
And the loose skin thing is interesting. I did just make a post where, and I
Mm-hmm.
showed part of it. Like I've not gotten to the point where I'm going to be like, check out these thighs and check
Yeah.
out the stomach, the skin itself. This is me. And I've started to really need compression clothing. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized, I've built an audience now, and, I talk about mindset a lot. I have these 4 rules for myself that I follow. But one thing that I'm trying to get better at is being vulnerable. So like even from when we're recording this, in the last week, I did a video where I got on the floor and got up unassisted. I've not done that in 20 or 25 years,
Oh my
where I
goodness.
basically, because I get on the floor every day as practice, but I'm right next to my bed, so I climb up my bed. And if you're bigger, the idea of being on the ground and getting up is very scary,
Yeah.
especially for people watching you.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, I did it, and I've shown my whole ass to the world, but that's okay. I'm fine with it.
It was a full moon. We love
Yeah,
it.
so basically. And then the loose skin thing is, I'm trying to, people see me, like if anyone's watching this on video now, from the chest up, people are shocked. There's no way you're 300 today, like 304 pounds. There's no way you're over 300 pounds. And it's like, that's because my weight loss is most visible in my chest and my neck and my head. I have a lot of loose skin around my stomach and thighs particularly. And I'm just trying to become more vulnerable and show that to people, because I will have a surgery at some point. And I don't want to appear to be something I'm not. And
Yeah.
I don't want to appear to be this guy who like is all put together physically, because I still have a lot of, I'm learning I have some body dysmorphia, which I didn't think I
Yeah.
had.
Yep.
And
I know
I'm
that.
like, when it comes to my clothing, where I'm getting clothes that are still too big for me.
Yes.
And I'm learning I still have some shame in me when it comes to things like my loose skin. And rather than deny those things or be angry or hateful at myself for it, I'm choosing to love myself regardless of how my brain sometimes wants to treat myself.
Yeah.
And that includes just accepting who you are as you are and saying, this is me. I'm going to love me because I'm worthy of love, and go on from
Yeah.
there.
That
I
makes me
love
get
that.
like jerked up because I'm dealing with that right now. So it's like, I'm like, it's just hard. I think you think when you lose, like I remember thinking like when I hit 100 pounds down, I'm going to be ecstatic. Like I'm going to be the happiest I've ever been. But I am very happy and I like to count my blessings and stuff. But like you said, you're learning like, oh, hey, maybe I have body dysmorphia. Hey, I do celebrate my loose skin, but I feel like sometimes I sit back and I catch myself and I'm like, oh, but this doesn't look the best. Like I love it and I'm happy that I have loose skin now because it's like, I did the work, but I think that it's the harder parts of weight loss where it's like you get to towards the end of it, or you're getting, closer to your end goal and you're like, these are the kind of the other sides of weight loss. It's not all like sunshine and rainbows. And these are also things that we're going to have to be going through. But I think working through mindset and stuff like that is really, really important. That's something Priss and I will like preach until we're blue in the face, is like mental health and mindset on this journey are so important.
Most
And
important. Most
yeah,
important thing.
I also want to thank you for being vulnerable because there's not, again, a lot of that in the community. And I think that even me, like watching and how I watched your video and how you like showed the compression shirt and stuff like that. And I didn't even know that they made stuff like that for people when we have loose skin like that. So the fact that I was like, oh my God, I was like, I need to look into compression shirts then. So like, I just think that when you make videos like that, there are people watching that could really need it. And so I just want to thank you for being
Thanks.
vulnerable.
And honestly, men in particular, because I love my GLP1 girlies. I'm with two of them right now. But it's mostly what's on social media, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
guys
true.
who have neither not started GLP1 because they think it's not for them, and that's part of why I think it's important for me and the other guys out there to talk about our own journeys and be vulnerable about it, because there are many men out there who could benefit from this stuff, who are in the lives
Yes.
of women who are using GLP1.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, if you're in a relationship where you're getting healthier and you're losing weight, and the guy that you're with is not, because he either judges GLP1 or doesn't think it's for him, that can cause some real problems. And when you can do these things together, it's so much more likely to succeed. So the reason I'm trying to be vulnerable that way is to just say to guys out there, you can do this, and you
Yeah.
can be vulnerable, and you can ask for help, and you can still be a guy's guy if you want, by getting
I
help.
love that.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad actually has talked quite often to me. My dad's like a truck driver, blue collar man who like, all he sees like he's on like GLP1 TikTok now because of me. Like he'll say he's like Taylor, maybe I need to start taking these because I don't see men like showing their journey. And he's like, well, maybe when I start taking it, I'll post. And I'm
Well,
like, do
that'd be
it, Dad.
awesome.
I'm like, there's not a lot of men. And his one friend is actually on a GLP1 and he messages me and stuff. So it's just, and he's like a middle-aged like guy that's also a truck
Yeah.
driver. And I just love seeing it because you're right. There's not a lot of representation. So I also love that side of it too. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I would love to know, Jamie, if somebody is listening to this and kind of dealing with like imposter syndrome, or like when they look at themselves, they're like, there's no way that I'm down this much weight, it's going to come back one day, or just like in denial that they have done what they've done, what would be like your biggest words of advice for them?
So I've started doing this recently when people say they throw out numbers. So I could answer that for an hour, but I'll restrain myself from that one thing. I encourage people to do what they can to not assign emotions to the number on the scale. And so, Tay, you mentioned about, kind of a goal weight, or I'll be happy to get somewhere. And I think sometimes what we do, and what I've done in the past when I failed, is you pick a number for the scale you're trying to get to. And often that number is tied to a different time in your life when you were maybe happy at a certain weight. And so for some, that's often going to be something like high school. For me, I was always been big, so I don't have a weight where I was happy, quote unquote, at that weight. But people will often say, if I get to this number, I'll be happy. And the problem is that if you start assigning happiness to a number, it does two things. One, it means that you are withholding yourself from happiness until you get there, even though you're worthy of happiness now. And second, if you get to that number, you may not find your happiness there. And then what happens? What happens if you've set this goal and your whole definition of who you are is to get to that goal, and you're just setting yourself for a disaster? So instead, I encourage people to set goals that are not as tied to that number on the scale, are not tied to the clothing size you wear, that are not tied to what people say to you. You know, I had to lose almost 200 pounds before anyone even started really noticing that I lost weight, including myself. So that's part of it. And the second part of it is just to think about what you've done so far. And so people will often say, I've lost, throw whatever number you want, 5 or 10 or, 30 pounds or whatever. And they think it's like not very much. And the reality is that if you just flip that and say, if I say I've only lost 20 pounds, and that feels like not a lot to you, imagine if you had gained 20 pounds. How would you have felt about that 20 pounds then? I showed it earlier. I like to talk about the 5 pounds of fat.
The
So people
infamous.
say, I've only lost 5 pounds, or 10. I've lost 2 of these things, right? If you had flipped that and say, what if I gained 20 pounds? Would that feel like a lot to you? And I bet it would.
It would.
And so if you look at your loss and think it's not very much, think of it as a gain, and how upset you'd be.
Yeah.
So if 5 or 10 or 50, whatever it is, if that's not a lot to lose, why is it a lot to gain? Now, if you say, I only gained 20 pounds, then if you actually think only gaining 20 is not a big deal, then okay, then you're being consistent if you think only losing is 20 not a big deal. So just take that number, flip it, reverse it, all that kind of good stuff, and look at the other perspective, and it may change your mindset on that number.
I love that so much. I think that's perfect, honestly, because you're right. Like, whenever I gained 5 pounds, I was like losing my marbles. I was like, why would I gain 5 pounds? Like, this is terrible. But then you're right. You're like, what if I would have lost 5 pounds? So
Yeah.
I think it's all about perspective on this journey. And I'm so happy that you highlighted that, because that was so perfectly said, honestly. Anyone that's listening to this, we have a lot of people that struggle with the scale. Me personally, I do too. So I think that was so important. And I'm really happy that you mentioned that, because it does make me look at it differently now.
Yeah. Well, one thing to think about, like, there's some good news and bad news here, which is that change happens slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And people only think that's bad because they're not getting what they want as quickly as they want.
Yeah.
But the good news about change happens slowly is it also means that if you have a bad day or a week, it's not going to derail you. Because in order for you to like regain all that you lost, it's going to happen really slowly again. Just like
That's
it
true.
did the first
Oh
time.
my
And
God.
so change happens slowly, and good change happens more slowly than we'd like it to.
Mm-hmm.
And often when it comes to our bodies, bad change is also slow, which gives you plenty of time to stop and figure it out and pivot to something that works better for you.
Oh my God. Honestly, Jamie, I would really love it if you just like came out with like a book or something.
I was literally gonna tell him, like, where's your book? You know what? Matter of fact, like,
Next
where is
year,
your biography, please? I'll buy one right now.
yeah, no, I will. Like, I need, because like, you're very, like, obviously, like, you've been on this journey for, I mean, in total, do you say like 2 years or
3 years total.
3 years?
But I'm also old. And so like I've been losing and gaining weight back when you two were back in diapers, So I've learned a lot through that process. I've made every mistake you could ever make. I've made on this process. So that's why I don't ever view failure or mistakes as a negative, because you learn something. And that's
You know what? And that's on period. And that's on. I'm feeling a little parched right now. I don't know about y'all after all that. I think we need to do a hydration check. We had to put Jamie on the hydration check.
There we go.
We did. I'm drinking electrolytes, y'all.
I'm drinking water.
I'm doing water. On my lives, I always say, when I drink, you drink, which in my 20s, that meant something totally different than it does now. Now it's drinking water.
I love it. Yeah, now it's in my 20s. It meant that was good. Are you taking our job? Is he funny?
Wait, you're kind of funny.
I was a party boy back in my 20s.
What? Picture didn't happen.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank God there are no pics. I'm so grateful we did not have cell phone.
Oh, that's true. You know what? That is true.
Yeah.
You probably got away with a lot of stuff, honestly.
Big time.
No,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I want to kind of like transitioning now that we're like hydrated and stuff like that. I think a big portion of like talking, like whenever I've like sat and listened to your lives and stuff like that, I think that you advocate, which I love, is something that like Priss and I swear by, is that like this medication, while it's a medication and it does do a portion of the work for you, a good amount of the work has to be like you also changing your habits. And so I would love to hear, like, back whenever, you know, you were, like you said, you had lost initially the 50 pounds without the help of a GLP-1, but back when you were still like around like your heaviest, how were you able to start making those small transitions into, whether it be movement or dietary changes or just habits in general, that you were able to slowly start building to get where you are now?
Yeah. Well, over time, I developed this mindset and these kind of my 4 rules that I follow. And it's not like when I started, I'm like, hey, I'm going to follow these 4 rules because like no one does that. But over time, I sort of developed them. And a lot of them involve changing your habits ultimately. And so my number one rule, and I think it's the most important rule for mindset, which is that you have to start keeping the promises you make to yourself. And we are so good when we promise something to others, we're generally pretty good about keeping those promises. And often, and I like to say that the way that you demonstrate you love someone in your life, whether that be a partner or a friend or a family member, is you prove your love by keeping your promises to them. That's how you prove your love. That's what vows are about. And so if you prove your love to someone by keeping your promise, you got to do that to yourself too, which means that you can't break promises to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the easiest thing to do is to break a promise to yourself. I bet
It is.
the three of us could list off 5 times we broke a promise to ourselves in the last week.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Easy.
I broke
Oh,
a
yeah.
promise to myself today. I was going to get up early today and go for a walk really
Me-
early, and I broke my promise.
Yeah, Priss and I have been that we're going to take our supplements every day. And
Uh-oh. Mine are sitting behind me. I got
Ooh, shot fired.
But anyway, so you got to start. So you make a promise to yourself, you can keep it. So, and the way you do that is that you have to make a promise that you know you can keep. And that's how you really start changing your habits is, for example, let's say you know you got to start moving. Now, at my heaviest, 650 was my heaviest. I started GLP-1 at 600. I started lifting weights at about 550. So I had to lose 100 pounds before I even started moving. And now, on TikTok or Instagram, people are like, I'm like the fitness gym guy. It's like, not at first, I certainly wasn't. I had to get down to
Yeah.
550, and then I just started doing basic stuff from home. So now
Mhm.
I do posts. A lot of my posts are just like, how do you do stuff from home, just like for free by yourself?
Mhm.
And I started walking a lot at 475. So I had to lose almost 200 pounds before I started really moving my body in any significant way.
Mhm.
And so you start by making a promise you know you can keep. We just had some water. We just did a hydration check. And you don't start by saying, if you're not drinking water often now, you don't start by saying, I'm going to drink 2 gallons a day. Like, going to fail. How about you make a promise to yourself that every time I get up, I stand up, I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm going to drink an 8-ounce glass of water. So every time you're doing something, you just add water onto it.
Mhm.
That's a very achievable promise. You can do that. And so you make a promise to yourself and you keep it. And once you're consistently doing it, then you make another promise. I am sure the three of us, many times in our life, have said, starting Monday, I'm going to work out and I'm going to walk and I'm going to eat better and I'm going to sleep better and I'm not going to,
And
do
I'm
whatever.
gonna take my supplements.
I'm going to take my suppies, all that stuff.
Dude,
And
the word Monday
you're going
hates
to
to see me
fail.
coming. Yeah. Well, honestly, prior to a GLP-1, usually
Yeah.
a lot of, but yeah, you're right. Like those, like I'll start my diet Monday.
Yeah.
I'll start
And
going to the gym around the new year. January is going to be it for me. This new year, January
Yep.
1st, I'm
New
going
year,
to be up
new
in that
me.
gym.
Monday or start the first of the month or whatever. And like I got to be 650 pounds by having a lot of really great Mondays
Yeah.
and a lot of really bad Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason to do that. So you don't have to start Monday. You can start today. Make a promise to yourself that I am going to pick one thing you're going to do today and keep the promise. And if you find that you make a promise that you can't keep, that you consistently break, that just means that it's too much of a promise. You have to change your promise to be achievable. Not easy. Like it shouldn't be something like, I can't make a promise I'm going to drink 2 ounces of water a day. And like, obviously you're going to do that, but make a promise that you have to work a little bit for, but you know you can do.
Yeah, I love that. You kind of touched on how on like social media or like TikTok, you're known as like this, like the workout guy or just like athletic. How do you feel like social media has like shaped your journey or like the storytelling of your journey?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think anyone's ever asked me something like that. I'm a victim of diet culture like everyone else. I see, especially on Instagram, you see this, but you see a lot of people who are maybe never had obesity, who are really fit, who look great. I have desired a jacked body like that in the past as
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to accept, and it's one of the harder aspects of this whole journey. I've had to accept that I will never have the kind of body that I would want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not in the cards for me. And so by trying to get something that I know I'm not going to get, you're just setting yourself up for disaster. Um, so I guess in terms of how social media has shaped my thinking, it's that, how do I put it? I'm trying to be something that doesn't really exist out there already.
Yeah.
And there are lots of people out there who have never dealt with weight problems, who look
Mm-hmm.
great and can
Yes.
do all these workouts.
Uh-huh.
But as an example, I do posts where mentioned earlier where I work out from home. I have two rules when I do my workouts from home, either on TikTok Live or in my posts. I only do things that I could have done when I was 600 plus pounds. And I only do things that don't involve me getting on the floor and getting back up. Because many people at a larger size, they can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to create things that are accessible. And oftentimes, if you're on social media and looking for workout tips, it's stuff for people that are not like me or like us.
They're doing
Yes.
backflips off of the workout bench. Like, they're
Yeah.
like,
They're like doing jumping jacks on the treadmill. I'm like, what are you doing? I can barely walk in a straight line on this thing.
Yeah. Or they make it seem like you just have to spend hours on a treadmill or a stair
Yes.
climber, which I
Yes.
don't do.
Nope.
I joke, in the last 3 years, I've lost 240 pounds. I've broken a sweat like 5 times. I don't sweat. I'm not a
Yeah.
sweating guy. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like to go to the gym and sweat.
Yeah.
And so I don't do that stuff. I do
Mm-hmm.
things that work for me in terms of
Realistic.
like
Yeah.
resistance
Yeah.
training, but are realistic, that aren't. The gym and working out is not to be something that you shouldn't have to endure. It's something you should enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So I try to
Absolutely.
create content and talk about my own story about enjoying those things as opposed to enduring them.
Yeah, I love that. I think that that's important, again, to have people that represent people also in the same boat, is because I think Chris and I, a lot of people in our community, I know there's going to be a lot of people listening that are like, no, I relate. Like, right now the gym feels like a chore. And it's because I think we see so many of those videos like on TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Anytime you're looking up like a gym video, it's like people like quite literally, like Chris said, like jumping jacks on the treadmill. They're carrying a weight on the treadmill, or they're like, you need to do 45 minutes of incline at like 20 and this and speed 5, and it's like, I'm not doing that. If I do that, I'll last one day in the gym. I will
Yeah.
last one day. And that's kind of how I've always felt in the, like, I think realm of like my weight loss journey,
Yeah.
is that none of it felt achievable. None of it was like doable or like made for, I feel like, someone in my body or my space. And so I think it's great that you are able to like post content. And I like that mindset of like, I'm also making videos for like my 600 pound. Like, if I can't, I'm doing it so that like this is like what my body could handle at any point. And so you're also making that for people who also have mobility issues and stuff like that. And I think that's amazing that people can like find your content and stuff, and it also be from home and be like, you know what, I can do that from home. Like, and
Yeah. And
it's
can I
great.
just say how you saying how like we'll find a video or like a picture of like an influencer or whoever it might be on Instagram, and then we try so hard to look like that person. And whenever we don't look like that person, we like beat ourselves up. That was like such a brain altering moment for me, because I know exactly what you're talking about, because that was me. Like, I would scroll on TikTok even before I started my weight loss journey, and I'd be like, I want to look like her so bad. I want to look like this person. I want my body to look like this. And you're right. Our bodies are not all meant to be the same. And we're like beautiful and special in our own ways. And just because my body doesn't look like the next person's body during this weight loss doesn't mean that I'm not doing enough. So I think that was like so important. I'm so glad that you said that, because when you said that, I was like, wow, yeah, that's me. Like, I find these pictures or I find these videos and I'm like, if I don't look like this in a year, I'm doing something wrong. But it's like, no, you're not. You're doing fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of it is also like, I mean, when you see pictures like that and people like that, and I'm sure many of them are probably very good, kind people, but those of us who've had to live in a bigger body for a long time have a special skill of empathy and compassion and love for others that maybe you don't get a chance to develop if you don't have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so while we may aspire to have their body, I bet many of them would aspire to have your heart or our heart, because
Aw.
it's just a little bit You just
Yeah.
learn, you go through life differently when you are.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
It's
do.
one of those things where like and they have struggles as well, but the difference between them and us is that their biggest struggle is often hidden. We don't know what they're struggling with. For us, our biggest struggles out in front of the world for people to see. And when you go through life with the thing that you're most challenged with being the first thing that someone notices about you, it gives you some compassion for everyone else and their things they're struggling with. And that's so I sort of view this as a bit of a gift.
You're like making me. I'm like, ugh. Like you keep like you're like hitting. Like I feel like you're like really bringing out like the side of things that we don't really talk about much. I think in the realm of like weight loss and stuff. And you and Priss said this earlier when you guys were talking about like growing up, and this kind of like relates to like what you said is like growing up in a bigger body, like in middle school and high school specifically, where like bullying was like the absolute worst. And it's like we're always kind of known as especially being like the fat funny friend and stuff like that. So I feel like we are the ones that are like nice and we'll hold the door open for everybody and we'll do this and we'll be the funny one. We'll make everybody laugh in class and we'll be the nice one. And it's because I don't know if it's because I felt like I had to overcompensate and like, I was already big and I felt like I was so insecure and I was being made fun of. So I felt like I had to be overly funny or nice or whatever it may have been growing up. But I think that just kind of like touches in with what you said of like, just it is hard like growing up and being where like our biggest insecurity and the thing that we wish we could hide is like out there like for the world to see. And so I think that does make us really have, like you said, empathy for people, and just because it's like we grew up with it not being able to hide it, so we really have to, just I don't know, Priss and I talk about this a lot too, is like some of the stuff people comment on our videos and stuff, like Priss and I will say like we would never in a million years think to say that to someone, but it's because growing up we had those things said to us, or maybe we just were more empathetic toward people because like you said, like our biggest insecurity was shown to everybody. But yeah, you just like being on the internet and stuff, or just being in a bigger body, I feel like people just feel so obligated to say things. And yeah, Priss and I will go back and forth and be like, what comment did you get this week? And God, you'd never say that to anyone, would you? Yeah. And we're like, no, like what ails these people
Yeah.
to like say these
It's
comments when
But
it's
the reality is that, and people think that they're doing something by saying those
yeah,
comments, but the truth is there's nothing that anyone's going to say to any of us that's more cruel than what we've said to ourselves.
that's true. Yeah. You got that
And
right.
when people say those things, it's not like we're hearing something that for the first time. Like we've
Yep.
said that thing to ourselves. And unfortunately, that can sometimes reinforce those negative thoughts in us. But when someone talks like that, it's just more indicative of that they are a broken person. We're all broken people,
Yes.
but they're a broken person, and rather than try to fix it themselves, they're attacking others. Whereas
Projecting.
we are broken people.
Projecting.
We're
Yep.
broken people who are trying to fix ourselves.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that
Hurt
physically.
people.
I'm talking about mindset and emotion and mentally
Yeah.
as well.
No, that's true. And yeah, that's hurt people, that's for sure. And they're projecting. And yeah, like I just want to say this is like kind of funny. I had this person who literally, I posted that I was getting a leg tattoo yesterday, and I just posted like, yay, like getting my first ever like thigh tattoo. Someone commented, I bet you can get a huge one. I commented back, I literally commented back and like sent her a picture, or like I put a picture on there. I said, yeah, I did, Judy. I hope you like it. Because I didn't get a big thigh tattoo. Like, what the hell do you mean? Like, shut up. Like, people are just so funny and like,
I think sometimes they do it just to get someone to laugh or something, and I'm like, that is so weird. Like, you're weird for that, honestly.
yeah, those
Yeah,
comments, they just make me laugh.
I get in my when I'm going live on
Oh,
TikTok. I mean, I'll get
yeah.
thousands
I've
of
seen a
people in
few
there,
of yours, yeah.
and I get occasional trolls that come in, and I will tell people like, don't attack the troll. I'll
Yeah.
start engaging the troll with love and kindness. There's
Don't
this
engage
one.
with the troll.
His name is Chicken. So Chicken, I doubt Chicken's listening to this podcast.
Well, they might.
He
Uh,
might be.
but Chicken came in and was a little bit trolly and saying some silly things, and I engaged, and I do this all the time. I started engaging like, I showed up on your feed because you are clearly in need of the things I'm talking about. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how
Yes.
good the algo is. So the algo brought me to you. So rather
Mhm.
than troll me, let's talk about whatever it is that you need. Now, Chicken started responding to that, and now Chicken pops in every time I'm live and says hello and gives a little heart me and like, have a nice day. And there's been multiple times where these people come in to troll, and now they come back because they found something
Yes.
in our community that they need.
Yeah. Well,
Aw.
and
And
you kill them
so,
with
yeah.
kindness. I like
Yep.
that. I like that you don't take like, I think that's something that is beautiful about that, is it's like, what good is it me being evil back to you? Like, and like you said, they obviously need something, whether it have been, most of the time they're insecure about something. And so I love that you do. I was in the one time that I was really in there talking with you, you had like a troll come in, and I remember like you just being like kind to them. Like you were like, hold on guys, like nobody like say anything mean, like let me talk to this person. And it was really cool to like see you like, just interact with them and be like, hey, like you don't have to say like all these evil things or like what's actually going on. And
Wise words from Jamie. Do not look the troll in the eye.
Empathy is important, and we want empathy for ourselves. Like we want people to treat us with empathy. But one thing I've thought about this whole, especially when it comes to GLP-1s, where people are saying it's the easy way out. You're seeing a lot of it right now with Serena Williams coming out. I
Yes.
appreciate that she's done that. But people are like, oh, it's just it's the easy way out. We've all heard this garbage before. But I try to be mindful for those who've never had weight issues. When they say taking a medication is just the easy way out, just like eat less and move more, they're not saying that because they don't like us or or they think we're bad people. They're saying it because for them it would be the easy way out because they've never had the struggles that we've had.
Yeah.
So rather
Right.
than me tell them like, no, you're wrong, it's like, no, for you maybe it would be.
Yeah.
If I've never had a weight problem and like gain 5 pounds, I'm like, oh no, that's a lot, and then lose it by extra hours on a treadmill or whatever. If that's me, then sure, taking a GLP-1's easy. But they don't understand our struggle, just like we don't understand theirs. So I just try to treat those folks with empathy as well,
Yeah.
and just say like, yep, you're right. For you, it would be the easy way out, but for me, it's the thing that's saving my life. And that's how I do it.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. You're 100% right on that. That's like one of the most common things that are in my comment section. I actually just had one this morning where it was like, after you get off this medication, you're going to lose 30 pounds right the next day or something. And I'm just like, it's such a common thing for people to say. And it's people that have never been big their whole life, or they've never they don't even know what a GLP-1 is.
No, most of
They
the
just
people
say it because
can't.
it's
Yeah.
like they think it's trendy or something,
They
It's
can't tell you
crazy.
what it does. A lot of people, the misconception, they think that you take it and you just, I lay on my couch and you lose everything, like that's not like I mean, for some people, sure, like maybe the first like month or so water weight, but for the most part, you've got to put in a good amount of work for this medication and to build those habits and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just misconceptions a lot like in the world. And yeah, the Serena Williams stuff going around right now is kind of crazy. It's like crazy to see how people are responding and stuff. And actually, I saw a tweet where it was like, yeah, so that movement where like you guys say just eat less and move more. Well, Serena Williams is a literal athlete, so like I mean,
Not just only she's arguably the greatest athlete in the history of the
Yes.
world.
yeah,
So when the greatest athlete in the history of the world says, I can't combat this, I need medical support to do it, like that should be a sign for all of us. I actually think over time we'll see this as sort of a game-changing moment in the space.
Yeah, good for her, honestly. That's amazing, And yeah, just thinking about that kind of gave me chills a little bit because yeah, you're right. Like this is like one of the best athletes in the world, but they need help too, So it's
Well, it's been
people,
an
yeah.
interesting week because you have Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes ever, saying, I struggle with this and I need medical support for this. At the same time, this Biggest Loser documentary has come out on the other
yes,
side, which,
Yes.
and when it comes to that, that's why that show, I watched that show at the time and
me too.
I thought it inspired me. Like, but now I look back and that show has done significant damage because if you ask most people who could benefit from working out and going to a gym, like, what is the gym like? They describe that show. What's a personal trainer? They describe Jillian Michaels
Yes,
screaming at you.
yes,
And that's not what personal training is. Personal training is
No,
actually built on love and compassion. And
hmm
gyms are
no.
places
Yeah.
that I've discovered are places where you are fully accepted. But we don't know that because of shows like that. So it's interesting that we are reminded of the most extreme, horrible aspects of diet culture on one
yeah,
day. And now a few days later, Serena Williams comes out and says,
yeah.
forget
Yes.
that. You can get help and
I love that.
don't be afraid of it.
Yeah. Well, did you guys watch the Biggest Loser documentary?
I finished it. I literally just heard episode 1. Me and my fiance are trying to watch it together. So he's kind of been working and stuff, but I'm about to finish it. I'm making it a thing for me to finish it this week, but I have heard crazy things about it. So I'm sad.
Yeah, it was like a crazy, like watching it, my jaw was just the whole time on how they were speaking to these people and the temptation rounds and the things where they would like put food. And I remember watching
Yes,
that like
I
as a
saw
kid.
that.
Yeah, I remember watching that as a kid with like my parents and stuff and just thinking like, oh yeah, these people do need to lose weight. Or like I just remember like everybody, like even in like school, I remember like people would make jokes like, you need to go on The Biggest Loser, like just things like that. Like not necessarily, I couldn't remember specifically if that was made to me, but like, kids and stuff, like they would say that to each other and stuff. And like just watching how these people were treated. And then I also commend the gentleman who gained his weight back for coming on there. Cause he said at the end, he said, I was scared to come on here and say, to even show myself because I've gained this weight back. But the fact that he was like, that didn't work. That's not how you heal, the situation, that like that didn't help me. Like, sure, he opened up about how like he lost all of that like very unhealthily, and he didn't learn any of the habits. He wasn't able to keep any of it. And I like just to watch him come back and be like, no, like I came on here to show that like it didn't work. Like that's not how you like handle adult like or obesity. And the end of it where they also talked about GLP-1s too is why I was wondering if you guys had both had finished it, because when they started bringing those up, and I could definitely two of those women, I think they didn't blatantly say it, but I think the two women
Strongly implied they were on. Yeah.
yeah, I think they were on it, like, the way they kind of, like, insinuated at the end. Yeah, because they started asking him about, like, GLP-1s a little bit, and the one, like, gentleman was like, "No, like, I'm not sure yet, like, I don't know, like, what." I think he was kind of, like, a little worried about it, but then I think the 2 women were like, "Oh." It kinda seemed like they were on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You had mentioned something, Jamie, about kind of like Serena Williams saying that it's okay to ask for help. Like, I need the help of this GLP-1. Whenever you had made your mind up to start a GLP-1 or to start this wellness journey, what was kind of like that enough is enough moment, or like the turning point for you to want to pursue this?
I had sort of a few things that happened all very close to each other. One is a friend of mine who's older guy in his 70s. We had dinner at his house with a group of us friends, and we're all walking out, and he pulled me aside. I was 43 years old when this happened, so a few years ago. And he pulled me aside, and he's like 72, 73, and he said, "Kitty." Well, my friends all call me Kitty, so call me Kitty because I have 7 cats. No, I don't. I'm just joking. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Wait, no, I love cats. If you
I
did,
love
I'd be
cats.
Yeah, I
sad.
was like, "Wait, I love cats, let's see them." I was like,
My
"Bring 'em,
cat's
bring 'em, bring 'em."
No,
right here, right now.
but he pulled me aside. He said, "Kitty, I want you to go to my funeral. I don't want to go to yours." And when a guy who's in his 70s tells you that he'll likely be going to your funeral, it was a real eye-opening moment. And it wasn't said with cruelty. It was said with total love. And I realized that I looked around, there was no one my size in their 50s. Like, they were all dead before that happened. Around that same time, my sister got married on the beach in Florida. So I went down to her, I officiated her wedding. I officiate weddings. I've done 7 of
Mhm.
them. I do them for
Yeah.
friends.
Gosh, do you mind?
And so I've retired, but I work for free beer. So anyway,
Okay, well,
if
I
you
will
ever
have all
want
the
to hire me.
beers.
Anyway, but I went down there and it was on the beach and I was 650 pounds, and walking on the sand at that
Yep.
size is hard. I
Mhm.
could barely stay stable. I've looked at it. I mean, I did it, and now I look at the pictures or video of it, and I still have love for myself, but it's hard to look at. Anyway, we're doing group pictures right afterwards, and I stepped back, didn't realize there was a little drop off, and I fell, and I landed on the beach. And I was laughing because I was like, hey, it's sort of funny. I mean, I didn't like crack my head open or anything because it's sand. But in addition to the wedding with the wedding party of 20, there was a whole bunch of other people on the beach on all sides. And I couldn't get up and I was stuck. And at the moment, I was terrified someone was going to pull out their phone and record it, because people become memes.
Yeah.
People are turned into, and at the moment, I can't get up. I'm stuck. I'm like digging at the sand to get out, laughing, like, because I was trying to make it light, but the most embarrassing moment of my entire life, and thinking, please, no one record this. Because if someone records this, it's going to go on Twitter or TikTok. And by this time tomorrow, I'm going to be famous as the beached whale guy. And fortunately, there's a guy there who is like an amateur power lifter, and he came to get me, and he's like, I'll get you up. And I looked up at him. I'm like, I'm over 600 pounds. Like, you're not getting me up. He said, I'll do it. And the dude picked me up. Like, it's a true miracle that this guy is able to get me up. So I got up, went about the day. I went home, and then probably the hardest moment happened about a week later. My mobility had gotten really bad. I could barely walk. I could barely move. And I used the toilet and I got stuck. I couldn't get up off the toilet. I physically was too weak to do it. I could not stand. I didn't have my phone with me, and thinking like, is this how I'm going to die? Like, not this moment. I knew at this moment, if I throw myself on the floor and crawl or whatever, I knew I'd be able to call 911 eventually. But I thought, is this what happens to me? I get in a situation where I cannot get help. And then you start having really dark thoughts, like, what happens? Like, I was 650 pounds and researching, and it's hard to talk about, but it's my reality. Researching, like, how do you bury someone that size? How do you cremate someone? Do they have to cut me up? Like, horrible, dark thoughts. Not self-harm thoughts, but like, what happens to me? And so all these things were happening at once, which is I tried to lose weight in the past and decided to make a go of it. And so I started with no medication and had some success. The reality, what the reason I lost 50 pounds during that first year was because I was eating DoorDash less. I was DoorDashing twice a day, not cooking at home, and I just did it a little bit less. I was still definitely I was eating a lot of calories, but I was constantly fighting myself. And I was not ordering this food to be delivered on a certain day, not because I was choosing not to. I mean, I was choosing not to, um, but I was in a battle. So I started a GLP-1 because I realized this is not going to work for me, what I have been doing. 2 years prior, so in 2021, I was on a flight and was next to a woman who was much smaller than me. And as we know, flying when you're heavy is a real struggle physically and emotionally, being judged. I mean, there are times I would rather drive for 2 straight days rather than fly for an hour, because I don't want to deal with it. But I was on a flight and I apologized and I felt bad. And she was very nice to me. And she said that she was a doctor and that she gave me her card and said, when I get back to Seattle, to give her a call, because she's like, there are these new medications coming out soon that I think will rival bariatric surgery. And I want to help you. So give me a call when you get back. That was 2021. And I never called her because I had this philosophy, like many of us, like diet culture teaches
Yep.
you have to earn your health through hard work. And I did not realize that I had a disease that once you treat the disease, it's still hard work,
Yeah.
but it's hard work that gets results, lasting results, as opposed to hard work that will be temporary. Anyway, those things happened and I said, I need help. I found a doctor in my town, great doctor, and here I am now. So asking for help is sometimes the bravest thing that you can do. And that's how I
Yeah.
view it for myself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It kind of honestly made me a little teary-eyed because, you in that moment when you were on the beach laying down and like you were afraid of people taking photos of you, like that just like pulled my like heartstrings a little bit because I think like if, you now could go up to that person and just like help them up and just like tell them like we're going to be okay. I don't know. It's just like I think so many of us experience those moments and it's like lonely, it's hard. It's kind of a little sometimes it can be a little embarrassing, because it's like, why am I here? But I'm just like, I'm so grateful for you and I'm like so grateful for the person that you are now and who you were before because it helped mold you into the person that you are today. But I just think like you are such a light in this community and it just makes my heart like it makes my heart sad, that you had to experience those things because you're just like such a light in this community, especially like where there's a lot of darkness and a lot of like hateful things going on in this world. There's people like you, that truly want the best for everyone and want to help everyone. And yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I have a heart full of gratitude now. I mean, when I lived in Europe, I had to travel for work all the time, and I've lost count of the number of times I'd see people taking my picture secretly, like in an airport or walking by people who like, hit the person next to them and point at me as if I can't see them. And if someone's taking your picture, it's obvious. A selfie
Mhm.
is maybe like this, but a picture of someone else is like holding the camera low, looking up.
Right. Yeah.
And I I have empathy for everyone, but it's hard when every time you leave your house, you wonder uh, with the level of judgment that you're getting.
Yeah.
And that's not the reason to find a healthier life.
Mhm.
It's not to deal with the judgment of others. It's to
No.
really find a way to approach every day with gratitude and joy. And in my case, I get that through having a healthier body. And it's not because of what other people say. But thank you for saying that. It's incredibly kind of you to say.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go through your life wondering like what difference you're going to make for others. And I've done that as well. I've managed thousands of people. I've been a leader at work and all that. But now I feel much more appreciation for myself when someone comes into a live room or sends me a message and just said that I was feeling lost and I didn't think I could do it, but I've seen someone else who can do it. That's why it's important that you two tell your stories and that I tell mine, and everyone out there tell your story, because you never know the person that you're going to impact with your story. I'm not going to reach everyone. There's going to be people who hear my story. It's not going to do anything for them, but they're going to hear one of yours, and you're the story that they need to hear. And if you're out there listening to this, you can be that story for someone else. And it's not hard to do. You don't have to fake anything. Just tell your story. And that's what I've tried to do.
Yeah, you have like honestly, like I think, we see things as far as like social media goes, but hearing you share your journey and how you got to a point of like enough is enough. I just want to say also thank you for sharing. Hearing you and how you had those thoughts about yourself, I think is something universal, and it's something that I hate that we've all had to experience, like where you said that when it came to flying and stuff like that. Like I also like I had was so funny. I'd actually never flown until I was the age of 21. But I quickly realized that was right after a little bit after COVID. But I quickly realized that flying and stuff like that isn't, cut out for, like, I remember I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to fly and, everything. But I quickly realized that, yeah, flying's not cut out for plus size people, and how like nerve wracking it began, and roller coasters and all of the things that I remember thinking, like you said, like leaving your house kind of became like, what am I going to face today? And I just think that's, hearing you talk about that made me emotional too, because it's like, it's just, you get to a point of like, you just go through so many things, I feel like. And it's like weirdly universal, right? That like we all experience those things. And I also like hearing you talk about like how you were on the sand and stuff like that. That, like Priss said, like if you could go back and like pick yourself up, that like made me like, when Priss said that, I was like, because you would, you know what I mean? And, like you are the type
Oh,
of
yeah.
person where you would have helped yourself up,
And then giving
and
them a hug and said,
yeah,
hey, it's going to be fine. You'll be
yeah,
okay.
and the fact that you are also like able to do that now, I think is just probably like just such a beautiful thing as
Yeah.
well. But I'm sorry that you had to like experience those things, because I know
I
it's
think
not.
I think it's so sad that the world is so cruel to people without even knowing them, just like seeing how they look like and just like assuming that they know who they are, when it's just like their body that some people just are trapped in, like you said, like it's like a disease that you have, and until you get to experience the other side, like, so when I first tried my GLP-1, I didn't recognize what food noise was. It's crazy because I hear about it all the time. I hear people say like, my food noise has gone away. And I'm like, I don't think that's ever going to happen for me. And so when I got on this GLP-1 and suddenly my brain was quiet, I was like, oh, wait a second. Is this what they're talking about? So, I truly get it when people say like, this is a disease. Like this is,
It is.
some people just need that extra help, and I think, like you said, it's so important for, if you have the option to share your journey, to do it, because we're just three people in this big old world on this journey, and there's so many other people that are on the same path,
Yeah.
so I think it's important.
Yeah. Well, I think it's saving so many people. And yeah, I just think it's such a beautiful thing. And so I know it saved me and it's changed so much for my life. We don't want to hold you too crazy long, Jamie, but we did have, I just
All the
again
time
want
you
to,
need.
I did want to again say thank you so much for coming on here, and not only for our community, but I think just also sharing your journey. And I think that just hearing everything that you had to say, I think a lot of people will resonate with that. We actually had a few of our Patreon members, or like our followers, wanted to send things in to say to
I'm
you.
excited.
So
They're
I would,
huge fans, by the way. They are huge
yeah,
fans.
they love
Okay,
you. Yeah. So
I love that.
you guys got them on. Be happy. They were
I
like,
never knew I'd be a guy that had fans.
yeah, you do. You do. Like our people in our Patreon were like, get him on the podcast now. So I would like to read, if you don't mind, we have a lovely girl. Her name is Cass, and she loves you so much. And she wanted to say, firstly, your story has inspired me so much. I have loved hearing about your experience with lifting weights and strength training. I'm a newbie to this world who has also become passionate about learning more and getting more comfortable in the gym and building muscle, all while feeling strong. I would love to know your advice on where to start as a newbie. The whole world is a little intimidating, especially as a plus size person, but I would love to hear how you got started and any tips. Thank you.
Well, Cass, thank you so much for saying that. It's very kind of you. My advice for you, or anyone else in the similar situation, two things. One, you don't have to start with going to the gym. Going to the gym can be sort of scary, emotionally and physically. It's scary emotionally because when we're bigger, we go through, like we've talked about this, we go through life either feeling judged or actually being judged by other people. And so we assume when we go to a gym, we're the Like the most fit people are with the best bodies, we assume that they're going to judge us more than anyone. But that is actually the opposite. The people who are working out in the gym, one, they're focused mostly on themselves. They're not paying as much attention to you as you think that they are. But second, they know how hard it is to get yourself there and to get yourself consistent in doing it. So when they see you, they're not judging you. They're thinking like, go get it. Like they're proud of you. They may not say that to you because they feel it might be rude or patronizing. But when you're working out in the gym, the emotional aspect of that, just know that they're not judging. And I mean, there's probably some jerks out there, but 99% of the people are not looking at you thinking, oh, you're too big to be here. They're looking at you thinking like, go get it, girl, is what they're thinking. So that's the emotional side. And then the physical side of it is you can start from home. So I'm a huge believer in what body weight squats or box squats, where basically if you only do one exercise from home, you can start with this. You're sitting in a chair, stand up, like try not to push yourself up if you can, but if you have to push yourself up, that's okay. Stand up and sit down and do that 10 times. If you're watching TV, you can do it, like set a timer on your phone that says you're going to do it. But just do that. And if you want to make it weightlifting, grab like some laundry detergent or a backpack or a gallon of water or something and hold that in front of you. And now you're standing up. Now you're doing squats with weight from home, and do stuff like that. If you want to start moving more by walking, it's very hard. People are like, well, I can't get all the steps in. I encourage people to set a timer on their phone for 2 minutes and just say, I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk for 2 minutes, wherever. It could be up and down the hallway. It could be whatever. And at the end of and just do it. Because now in your head, you're like, I don't have to go out and like do some big exercise. I'm just going to walk for 2 minutes. And then at the end of the 2 minutes, if you want to be done, then be done. Go sit down. But if at that 2 minutes, you're like, I can do 2 more or 5 more, then set another timer. And those tiny little things are really, really critical for you. But I certainly encourage people to do something. So there's so many things you can do from home to begin doing resistance training. Resistance training is really important. Weightlifting is important. And I'll show these really quick for those who are watching a video, but I'll try to describe it. I'll do this in just a minute. I have a pound of fat here and a pound of muscle. And when you are in a calorie deficit, which GLP1s allow us to do finally, your body needs to burn itself for energy. And that's how we lose weight. So if you judge your results based on the scale, you don't really know what actual results you're getting. I have done, as we all have, I have done major damage to my metabolism in the past by losing weight without doing resistance training. And so my advice is, let's say your body loses 2 pounds this week. It's either going to lose them from fat or from muscle or from both. Muscle's really expensive. Like it burns a lot of calories. And when your body needs to burn 2 pounds to stay alive, it's going to start by getting rid of your muscle because it's so expensive. Muscle also liquefies real fast. So it's going to say, I need to get rid of my muscle first. I'm going to hold on to the fat because fat's cheap. Fat will just sit there. It doesn't take a lot to keep it around. But if you are doing resistance training, even what I just described, where you're like standing up and sitting down, if you are using your muscle and feeding it, which is what we need protein for, if you're using this and your brain goes to burn it, it says, nope, you cannot take this because I need it. If I'm using this, so instead of taking a pound of your muscle and a pound of your fat, your body says, well, shit, I can't take this. I'm going to take 2 pounds of fat instead. The end result's the same. You've lost 2 pounds. So you look at the scale, you've lost the same 2 pounds, except now you've kept your muscle. And because muscle is so expensive, your calories can be higher. What often happens is when we lose weight, we lose a lot of muscle and we keep our fat. That's how you end up skinny fat. And because you've lost your muscle, when you start increasing your calories again, because you can't eat, at a huge calorie deficit forever, when you increase your calories, that's how you gain weight so much. That's why people will often say, well, I look at a cookie and gain a pound, and my friend next to me can eat a dozen and she's the same. It's because you have probably lost some muscle over time. So keeping your muscle allows you to maintain weight loss. In addition, it looks good, you feel better, it's good for your health. But beyond that, it allows you to maintain a weight loss. So do anything that uses your muscle and you'll be more successful.
Honestly, education moment. I love that so much. And it makes sense, like when you, because if you think about it, a lot of times in the GLP-1 community, you hear us and people saying, on a GLP-1, you can lose a lot of muscle. And that happens because if you're just sitting, but you're in a deficit and you're not using your muscle, it's going to take the muscle. Is that what you're saying? So
That's exactly what I'm
that's how we
saying.
lose our muscle easy.
It's
We did
gonna
go
Wow.
to school.
I love
take
it.
the
We did go to
muscle
school.
first.
Did you guys hear that?
muscle first, which is why it's important. And your muscle feeds on protein. That's why I say eat your protein, because you have to do a combo of using your muscle and eating your protein. And the best way to use your muscle, I mean, go to a gym, like that's great, but you don't have to. You can do stuff from home. Just go on TikTok or YouTube or my account and search body weight exercises or body weight workout. And that's how you do it. And you can use resistance bands. So, Cass, I'm really proud of you for realizing this, that this is what you want to do. And the fact that you know that tells me you're going to be successful.
Yay, we love Cash. She's so
We do.
sweet.
We love Cass. Well, thank you for taking the time to answer her question. I know she's going to
Yes.
greatly appreciate it. And I know a lot of us, Priz and I, just benefited from that little
Yes.
educational moment.
Yes. Our next question is from Emma, and she said, this might be silly, but I do have some questions for Jamie. So there's multiple. The first one is, what's been your least favorite part about your weight loss? To counter that, what's been your favorite? Has your mentality surrounding food changed? What's been your favorite meal and discovered you like since starting a health journey? Because I know my taste has changed and I've branched out and tried new things.
Okay. And who's this again? Who asked this?
Emma.
Emma. All right, Emma. Let's see. So the thing that I've least liked about the weight loss, that's a hard one because I've sort of probably two things. One, there's like the half real, half jokey. I rarely watch Netflix or TV anymore. Like a lot of my life now is spent walking or studying or on TikTok, whatever. And so I've missed on a lot of shows that I used to watch. And so, but that's part of it. I think that for me, I've really trying to not let my whole identity be defined by my weight loss and GLP-1. And I'm sure that you two struggle with this as well, because I mean, you have a podcast and you have big social media followings, and you sort of get that as I go about my life, it's the first thing that people want to talk with me about. And that would bother me if I didn't like talking about it so much. But I do. And so probably the thing I least like is about that. And to be honest, my loose skin. Like I don't love the loose skin. I'll deal with it. I will in terms of surgery at some point. But it is frustrating and it's more annoying than anything. It's worth it. I'll take this any day over what I used to have. But anyway, that's probably it. What I like the most, honestly, is just about movement. So 3 years ago, I couldn't walk 20 feet without being out of breath, like for real. And last weekend, I did a 14-mile hike. I walked 14 miles at once.
Oh my God, I would faint.
That's
There were
amazing.
moments I thought about it, but I have a goal. Like people say, like, what's your goal weight? And like, I don't have the number that I care about is not a number on the scale. The number I
love
care
that.
about is 20 because I want to do a 20-mile hike. And that's my goal. And so the thing I like most is that I now look for, and it took a while to get here, by the way. I know it sounds crazy. It's not like I woke up one day and like, I love using my body. It took time. But now I look for reasons to move my body, whereas I used to look for reasons to not move my body. And I used to I would drive around a parking lot for 15 minutes just waiting for the close spot to open.
Yes.
Now I just
Okay, wait, why did you just call me out?
Yeah, you did clock us. You clocked us because But I love that you said that because now I don't. You're right. Like that's the little non-scale victories we don't think about.
It's like that TikTok where it's like, who said that?
Yeah. And so favorite food is, my favorite foods are still the same. I still like pizza and burgers and wings and beer, and I still do all that stuff. I just don't do it like as often as I used to. From what I make at home is probably, I like, taco bowls.
Ooh, I love taco bowls.
Pound of ground beef and some rice and some taco seasoning. I found this like protein taco seasoning, which is great.
Do tell.
Protein. Yeah, it's right in front of me. Normally I have this stuff like in front of me, but it's on my TikTok.
Okay, go to his TikTok.
So you add a bunch of protein to the taco seasoning and some hot sauce because your guy loves pain when I eat. I love like the hottest possible pain I can get.
We have to ask, what is your favorite hot sauce?
El Yucatan. So if you've heard of El Yucatan, it's like triple X hot. You can get it pretty much anywhere. I found it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like it makes you wonder, like, what are you doing with your life when you eat it? It's so hot. It's so good though.
Buffalo sauce makes I can eat buffalo ranch and be like so I can't do spice.
You
My
sound like an
favorite,
average North Dakotan. Buffalo sauce is hot. Peppers, that's too spicy for me.
my favorite is Cholula.
I love Cholula.
Ooh, with eggs, with everything. It's just I have to put Cholula.
In my 650-pound days, a visit to Qdoba or Chipotle, I'd put like half a bottle of Cholula on that stuff. It's so
You and
good.
Cholula go way back.
We do. We're really good friends. And it's low calorie, but it's high sodium is the problem. Anyway, so I'll usually do like taco bowls at home. I'm not afraid of carbs. I love my carbs. That's what I'll do at home. I missed the other one. I think there was one or two other questions.
Yes, the other one was, how has your mentality surrounding food changed?
So when I started GLP-1, the food noise didn't go away for a couple of months. I didn't lose anything my first 3 months. So if you're listening out there, you're feeling like it's not working for you. I've lost 240 pounds and you look at me like, wow, that guy succeeded. And I have, but I lost not a pound my first 3 months. It took time. I'm like a higher dose king. Like I have to be on a higher dose.
Higher
People
dose
are like,
king.
I've lost so much on the lowest. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how did you get lucky?
Oh my gosh, yes. When people are like, I've been on 2.5 for a year, I'm like, huh? I'm like,
2.5. I don't know her. What I know is 15. But anyways, once the food noise went away, it was a hard time for me emotionally. So like when I truly realized that life had changed for me, I'd been on a GLP. At this point, it's about 6 or 7 weeks. And for years, I had gone to McDonald's every Sunday morning. And it was always the same thing. I'd go there, I would get 2 sausage McMuffins, 2 sausage biscuits, extra sausage, extra cheese. I'd get 2 hash browns and 2 large orange juices. I'd eat enough for 4 people.
you know what? That was just an appetizer for me.
Damn, we could have done some damage back in the day.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! Listen, we could have.
But so I did it every Sunday, and then there was this one Sunday I was driving there, and halfway to McDonald's I stopped, and it was like a flash in my head, and I just said, "Why are you doing this? Like you don't want this. You're not even hungry right now." And I realized it was just habit, and I pulled into a parking lot and had a little conversation with myself, like, "Why are you doing this?" And I turned around and I went home. And I've not been back to McDonald's in 2 years. And so ever since that moment, I've done other
Wow.
fast food, but
Wow, y'all really broke up.
we really did.
Oh wow, that's like a hard
Yeah, so
breakup.
if you wonder why the stock price of McDonald's is down, it's because Jamie's not spending money there like I used to.
Yeah.
But it was after that my relationship with food began to change. And that's when I realized once the food noise was gone, I describe the food noise as a kid named Timmy. Let's say you're a parent and you bring your son Timmy to the grocery store with you, and you're buying stuff for dinner, and Timmy sees a candy bar and starts throwing a tantrum because you said you can't have it. And Timmy's screaming and hitting the floor. Timmy's food noise. And so at the moment you're deciding, all right, I can give Timmy the candy bar and he'll be quiet and I can go about my day. Or I can say, keep Timmy food noise screaming at me, and now I can't even concentrate on anything else because I'm so obsessed. And so to me, GLP-1 is leaving Timmy at home. I used to say give Timmy up for adoption, but someone told me that's sort of dark. So I'm like, I'll leave.
Yeah, I gave Timmy up for adoption, guys. He's
He's gone.
good.
But once the food noise went away and I realized that I was using food for every emotion. If I had a good day, I would celebrate by eating. Like, what pizza am I going to get tonight? If I had a bad day or I was sad, I would eat. If I was lonely, I would eat. If I was bored, I would eat. And food was just an integral part of every emotion that I had. So once the food noise went away and I had to sort of reconcile and deal with the fact that I was using food as an emotional crutch, I got kind of sad. And it's kind of like losing a friend because food had been my friend. And now with the GLP, after a few months, I could no longer use it as a friend because I just had no desire to eat. Like I couldn't eat that much. And that was real eye-opening for me. And I got kind of sad. And I was sad for a month or two because I realized, what am I going to replace this with?
Yep.
And in my case, I replace it with health and fitness. I replace it with like trying, with walking, with weightlifting, with stuff like that. But yeah, my relationship with food has fundamentally changed. And I still get hungry on a GLP-1. People are like, do you ever get hungry? I'm hungry right now. Yeah.
Right now. No, literally, I think my stomach has growled a few times. If you guys heard that, I'm sorry. Like, I'm hungry.
Exactly. But now when I get hungry, I used to be compelled to eat. Now when I get hungry, I ask myself, am I hungry? Am I actually hungry? Like, do I need to eat? It's been a while since I've eaten? Or am I hungry because I'm having an emotional reaction to something?
Yes.
And the GLP has allowed me to stop, think about it, and then act appropriately. And sometimes that means I eat and sometimes it doesn't. But that's how my relationship with food has changed. But it's being very mindful about your hunger cues and why you have them.
Yes, I think that is perfect because that was actually me like the other night. My fiance, one thing about my fiance is he loves Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell probably knows his order.
I like him. We'd be friends.
And he was like, I'm gonna go get Taco Bell. Do you want anything? And in the moment, I'm like, it's like you said, like habit. I'm like, yeah, get me this. And I'm like, wait, I'm not even hungry though. Like, I don't
Yeah.
even want that. So no, I'm good actually, you know? But it's like such a habit thing to like want to drive this place and like order this. But it's like you're not even feeling really hungry, you know? So I love that the GLP-1 has really given me the freedom of that to eat when I want to eat. And if I'm
Control.
not hungry, yeah, control.
Put you in control rather than the hunger in control.
Yeah.
Yes, Tommy rather than Tommy. Tommy's no longer in control.
Timmy.
It's me.
Timmy.
Tommy.
Timmy
That's so
Turner.
good though. Timmy is such not a part of your life that you don't even
You
remember.
don't even know his name. We don't even
I
know his
don't
name.
even know his name.
Tim, Tom, Tat, whatever his name is. I love that, honestly. I love that you said too. I just want to say really quickly that you mentioned that you still have and enjoy like pizza, wings, burgers, because I think that's so important. Everything in moderation, right? And because if we start to limit ourselves to those things, it's like you eventually say you ever for whatever reason need to stop this medication, you may spiral because you the whole time are like limiting yourself. And I also like McDonald's was like a very hyperfixation thing for me too. I think a lot of us had hyperfixations on McDonald's, but I also like I've said it on this podcast. I would purposefully set my alarm in the mornings so that I could go through the drive-through to get me a hash brown, large sweet
Before
tea.
10:30.
Yeah, before 10:30. Exactly. Like you had to be there. But sometimes sometimes I was rolling up there at like 10:26. I was not like I'm like racing to get to the drive-through, you know? And I remember like I would do that. And I took a step back like a couple months ago and was like, I have not had McDonald's breakfast in months. Like it's been probably like 6 months now. And I was like, oh my God. You don't realize those things until it's like,
Yeah.
whoa. I do like every once in a while, like for whatever reason, like I'll just think of it. Like I had a McDonald's cheeseburger probably like last week, but the difference with me now is I probably would have had to have eaten 4 cheeseburgers, right? To
100%.
feel fulfilled by that. And now it's like one of them and it like that and a Diet Coke gets me for the day. So
Takes the edge off.
let's take the edge off. Jamie, I just want to say thank you again so much for coming on here. I know we took quite a bit of your afternoon, but
I
we
could do this
just
for 3 more hours if you wanted. I'd be happy
I
to.
love it, honestly. And you know what? Our podcast listeners would not hate that. Priss and I, for a long time, were doing like 30 to 45-minute episodes. And we were getting DMs and like messages. They were like, yeah, no, you guys need to do an hour. No, sorry. I'm on the treadmill for an hour. I need an hour. So now we've like made it like a thing to like make sure we're doing an hour every
Well, today we gave them a little extra time on
We
the
did.
treadmill.
You guys
You're
are getting
welcome. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
there
You are
you go,
so
guys.
welcome.
You're getting about an hour and a half of an episode. So now you got to find something else to do for that extra 30 minutes. But I just want to say again, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your journey, not only with Priss and I, but also just our communities. And I just think it's so important to have people like yourself who are being vulnerable and have the right mindset and the right motive behind sharing your journey. And I just want to say that you inspire me so much. And you know how you said that you're like, I can't believe that I have fans. We have 2 sitting right here because
No,
Priss
right
and I
here.
love you and our community loves you. And like, I just adore you and admire you. And you're someone that I look up to. And I'm just so grateful that we were able to get to know you more and have you on the pod.
Yes, Jamie. Honestly, I'm a huge fan. You have literally just been such a incredible person to follow on this journey, and I just appreciate your vulnerability, your openness to talk about your journey and share that with other people. And again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit here and just like talk to us, educate us, and just share all of your journey with us.
Well, thank you so much. Just a reminder to everyone out there that, and you two who are great examples of this, you should tell your story and remind yourself that you are worthy of love and respect, including from yourself, regardless of the number on the scale or the size of your body. And if you are not yet a Patreon subscriber to these two, please do. I'm going to finally sign up and I will go in and I'll chat with everyone.
They
So
will
look for
faint.
me.
No, you won't. No, you
I'll
won't.
sign up, so look for me in there. So I'll hang out with all
You know what? Actually, Jamie, what was that? If you would be so kind, would you mind if we do a quick little rapid fire questions for our Patreon community exclusively
absolutely.
only after this? Patreon community, you guys will be getting rapid fire questions with Jamie coming right after this.
Thank you so much, you two. This has been maybe the most fun I've ever had on any sort of
I'm gonna throw
podcast.
up.
So highly recommend. 10 out of 10, A+.
He's rating us a 10 out of 10.
Yes. 10 out of 10, guys. No, like I also had really, really fun. I know we've had a few like guests on here, but I just feel really connected to you. And I, again, just thank you so, so much. And I know a lot of people are going to love this episode. They're going to fangirl just like we are. Yeah, I just want to thank you again, and we will have all of your socials. I know you said it in the beginning, but I'll make sure to have them typed. I'll get them from like your actual socials. We'll link you in like the YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We'll have you linked to the captions, and I'll put it up on the screen for everybody. So please, guys, if you could take the time after this episode or while you're listening to go give Jamie a follow, because you will not regret it. His content is, if you enjoyed hearing him speak, his content is that and everything else. So in his lives, you have to tune into his lives. He's live every day, right, Jamie? Or
pretty much every day.
Yeah, every time I'm scrolling, I see. Yeah, I was gonna say you're right. It's like I'm like, oh, Jamie's still live. All right, kudos. Yeah, you keep going, dude. Like, so he is amazing to sit in and just listen to his lives and his content, his workout content, like he spoke about. If you need help with the gym and just motivation and everything, I definitely recommend that you guys go over and please give him a follow.
Thanks to everyone.
Yes, and for everyone that is listening to the Dose of It, thank you guys so much once again. We have hit 400 subscribers on YouTube, and we are growing slowly but surely on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we love you guys so much, and thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Dose of It.